W420 Radio Network.com.
Here are some words from the founder of this program and the W420 Radio Network, Marc Corsi, as he talks about this program and why we bring it to our listeners.
When we did launch W420 in October of 2019, we were more of a singular show on the business side, and what we've grown into is multifaceted. And we've touched different points in terms of the industry, but we've taken it on like a business sense and a consumer sense, which is a difficult thing to do. I mean, my background with running a advertising and PR firm for many years, you had a consumer side or a business side, and you address both of these within this one podcast. Now, the challenging things now is the fragmentation that you discuss is quite interesting, because right now we have 2 million active shows. There's approximately 48 million podcast episodes. And if you go back down to the fundamental part of life, when we had a couple television networks and 3, and even when Fox came was a big thing, but then you had cable who could go ahead and fragment and break down audience sizes by zip code. Well, in this industry, there's a lot of information with a lot of different topics that you can review. I mean, let's just go back to the podcast right now and see what we're at. That 50% of all people listen to a podcast, which is 162 million, and 21% increase in the last 5 years. And with those, there's an average of 41 monthly listeners. So now you have a very dynamic change in the industry over the last years, and with the cannabis industry, this is accepted. Because regular radio networks, it's not acceptable, or television to advertise, and they're trying to reach those different people in different ways. And when you start looking at the advertising side, and which is nice, is that ads are acceptable to different people, listeners, and that 78% of the audience, they don't mind to listen to them. They actually get educated by the messages of either ads or sponsorships. So that is a quite interesting and dynamic change. When we started advertising with people many years ago, the fundamentals were you'd use television for reach, radio for frequency, you'd use print, and a lot of people came on the yellow pages. Then you've gone ahead and dynamically gone through the social media side, and even when the internet started, there's only 12 colors at that particular point in time that you could use. And now with the interactive part, the podcast, and then how simple and easy it is to stream. Now, we're on approximately 20 different outlets, but we are also on the 3 major ones that represent most of all the listenerships on podcasts, which are Spotify and Apple, and on those particular platforms. But again, we're on about 20 different. So our audience, in analyzing it and growing it, but also looking at the different platforms, we've kind of refined and defined how we've done business in terms of a singular announcer. But then this year I introduced Women in Cannabis, and then we went ahead and had Lifestyle. We have very good people that have produced those shows for us. So now what's happened is all these different products. And if you go on W420 Radio, you have the business side. You have a doctor talking about a strain of cannabis that can cure pancreatic cancer. We'll have our national representative and our lobbyists go ahead and discuss what's happening on the floor in Congress or at the Senate level. But then again, we'll have somebody like the former Assemblyman Willie Brown for 30 years, who was Speaker of the House for 16 years, talk on a California base and a national base. And then we'll go ahead and talk with somebody who created the CBD jelly bean, which he started many years ago, which was Jelly Belly. So we have very interesting things. I mean, I can go ahead and look at the chef that we've had, CBD ice creams that we've had, but we'll also touch base with technology and where the dispensaries, where the banking is. And now we're going into insurance and other different marketplaces that you can reach out on these different podcasts. And with us and with the integrity and the people that we have, we became the authority, which I'm quite proud of. The fact of the matter is that I go back to the fundamental discipline in terms of it's got to be about the content and the integrity of the content. The fact of the matter is that I've looked and analyzed this industry and some of the magazines, and they're a pay-for-play on press releases. I mean, you can write what you want. You pay one of these magazines, online or traditional, and you can go ahead and create what you want. What we do is we go back to the fundamental side of, hey, we are a reporter. We are talk show hosts. We look at the integrity. We look if it's real, if it's viable, and if it's something good for our listeners. And that's the one thing that I like about our fundamental execution of what we do and the information that we disseminate through all these different platforms. Now, what is nice is to have the experience throughout the years and the understanding about the business and how to go ahead and grow it, and also to make sure that our advertisers or sponsors benefit from there. And as you said, the fragmentation has been an unbelievable experience for everybody in terms of just even the cable networks on television or the frequency on radio or Sirius or whatever those are. Now we have the podcast. So we're taking advantage of that, moving our audience, as I said, when we have a lifestyle, a women in business, women in cannabis, and all these different facets that then extend our reach to different people that are interested in our platform. So that's what I like, again, is the fundamental ethical integrity that everybody here at W420 adheres to. You know, the fact of the matter is that you have to keep on evolving and rebranding or continuing your growth in anything, but in mostly particular this industry. When I started out, you know, I started in the radio business for 5 years, and that was interesting. I started on both sides. I mean, I did sports, I covered them, I sold, understood the marketing, and what success needed to happen. But then what happened was I got involved in the agency business, but it was advertising, then public relation, then design, and then I became an integrated marketing communication firm, which we did advertising, design, direct marketing, media, public relation, content, custom publishing, interactive. And the thing is, we'd listen and we'd come up with the best solution for you on how to execute that and come up with the best economy also. So now, moving and growing, these are the other things that have occurred where we've gone through now podcasting and where that's going to go in the growth. I mean, I think I told you earlier in terms of the growth in the millions of dollars, we're going from a $1.2 billion in 2021 to $3.7 billion in 2025, and that's just triple in a short amount of time. So the thing is, you analyze trends, marketing opportunities, and that's what I've always been able to do and been successful, is to move with the trends and sometimes be in front of them. And I think in the cannabis industry with W420 Radio Network, we are in front of the trend and getting good, solid third-party information out. Now, also what I like to do is discuss these live podcasts, to go to many conventions and events, cross-promotions with other podcasts that are a very effective way to continue and build audiences, but also partnerships and relevant ones that work and benefit everybody. And then what we're doing at W420 is we're going to come up with a custom segment for clients so we can go ahead and make sure that it's a topic that we want our listeners to go ahead and listen to. But then what we will do for the client, we'll go ahead and then re-edit some of the benefits they would have for a customer. And then they can use that to go ahead and send out to their current clients for retention and the knowledge of what's happening and perhaps some products they didn't know. And then to go ahead and execute that out other platforms to obtain new clients. So it's kind of like a third party where it's more difficult just to talk about yourself, but if you have some professional like you, David, who discuss and answer these questions but get some statistical information, it brings in the listenership of the audience of the business person and makes it a lot more relevant. And so those are the things, besides continuing to build our audience and to open up more business platforms, but to go ahead and be innovative and different and lead the pack in terms of the cannabis industry broadcast side. That's why W420 has gone from 0 to 2.4 million listeners in the last 2 years. Grow and learn with W420 because we have the team, we have the professionalism, the capability to go ahead and continue to keep each and every person on the forefront of the industry with W420 Radio Network.
W420 Radio Network.com.